One morning, you wake up and you have school. You get your hair done, brush your teeth, and get on the school bus. You're at school and you look around and everything feels gloomy. You can't even feel like yourself because there isn't anything to feel. You can't look up to see what's ahead of you because you're constantly looking down. It's the last period of the day and it's your PE class. You see all your friends hanging around, laughing, and all you can do is just stare in silence. You don't even know why you feel like this. You're so isolated inside your own head that you feel like the entire world has forgotten about you. You then walk away from your group of friends and sit on a bench. You look out into the distance and break down. You then ask yourself, why do I feel so sad? Your mental well-being shouldn't be stigmatized in today's society. Educating young students should be our utmost importance regardless of age. Your life is the most precious thing anyone could have. We're each given just one. And when you have an entire group of students that we hope would be the success of the future, then suddenly the majority of them are suffering in silence, and at the end of the day, a life is lost. Today, I will discuss the importance of educating young students about mental illness, why so much in this day and age, and what our future may look like if students were educated on their mental well-being. Almost every student has attended some sort of educational foundation. Some had it good, while others not so much. So why does educating students about mental illness have to start at school? It's because that's where you had your first best friend, your first crush, and at the time where you hone your self-worth. Some may think that mental illness isn't real or doesn't affect them, but it's so hard to believe in something that you can't see. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention reports that 1 in 5 children in the US currently have or at some stage had a debilitating mental illness. 50% of mental illness begins by the age of 14, according to the American Psychiatric Association. It's sad that half of us had experienced some sort of mental health issue at the age of 14. When you're still a kid, you should be having fun. The causes of this are many. But first, we need to stop stigmatizing mental illness and focus on normalizing it like any physical injury you'd get. Our solution is to have mental illness awareness in schools and to create an environment where students will know that what they're going through and feel okay to ask for help. Back then, life was simple. You just went to school, and when it was over, you'd go to the supermarket with your friends and you'd get your snacks and chips. Probably not much things to do back then, nor work. But now in today's society, things are becoming ever so more complex than ever, with technology being a huge part of our life. The intense, rigorous courses required to get a job, and the idea that we all must be successful and already know what we want to do in life. And it can sometimes become overwhelming for all of us. Researchers examined data from 6.9 million teens and adults in the US and found that contemporary Americans report more symptoms of depression that affect the body, such as trouble sleeping and concentrating, than people typically did in the 1980s, according to the CBS News. Social media plays a big role in our mental health. Have you ever scrolled through social media and stumbled upon a young influencer who seemed like they were successful and had the perfect life? And you question yourself, why can't I be that or this? And you feel like you need to know what it is you want right now or to be in the future. But there's a huge misconception behind social media. And it's so easy to be discouraged when others look so perfect and you're constantly seeing them on the media. The solution to this is to educate students and to know that behind all of those influencers, they themselves has probably dealt with mental illness too. And when you make that comparison, you realize that they're no different from you and that we're all the same. Everyone wants to see the outcome of the future. We all want to live a prosperous life where we live with no regrets and have chased our dreams. But when you've fallen so far down, getting back up on your own 2 feet is hard, especially when you have no knowledge nor support from others. And potentially, they themselves could put themselves in danger. Fortunately, I, for one, was never put in harm's way. According to the Brain Forest, 90% of those who commit suicide had an underlying mental illness without being taught about the reality of mental illness, how dark, scary, and alone it feels. That needs to change fast. We already know what it's like to go up against something we don't understand, and it happens to all of us. Schools are stretched thin when it comes to funding for education about mental health. We simply need to increase those fundings to enable schools to educate their students on this important matter. This alone could potentially save a life if this was implemented, and that alone should be a good enough reason for all of us to start fixing this problem in our society. Altogether, society needs to stop stigmatizing mental health and start normalizing it like any other injury you'd get, especially in a society where everything is changing at an unprecedented rate. The solution varies upon subject, but they all fall into the same category: educating students about mental health regardless of age. Now, more than ever, we have a once neglected society whose voice is now being heard all around the world. I hope that one day a student is able to feel okay to ask for help and know that he or she isn't alone. Thank you.